I'm Rhea, Tatum, the crippled comedy queen with the crooked nose. And one thing you should know about me is I'm a woman of a certain age. So if I do a death drop, y'all have to promise to call an ambulance. We're not playing around here. I can see the obituary now. She died as she lived, lying on her back, surrounded by intoxicated strangers. Another thing you should know about me is that I have brain damage. Most of you can see my makeup well enough that you're like, yeah, girl, we know. So I'm a stroke survivor. It happened about, it happened about 15 years ago. I was hanging out with my straight crush, and that was not the first time that closeted me experienced blood flowing in unexpected and inconvenient ways hanging out with boys. So in addition to having brain damage, like a lot of drag queens, I also have a lot of psychological issues, but also I'm too poor to do therapy. So let's deal with some of my shit here tonight. Let's talk about dads. So my dad and I, very different people. He was always like stereotypically masculine, and I am this. And he was always like really into sports. And as for me in sports, have you ever heard transphobes talking about how like, oh, if you have XY chromosomes, that gives you an unfair advantage in sports? I invite them to watch me try to catch a ball. Is she having a stroke? Or is she trying to catch something? It's not pretty. Another thing about my dad is, did you ever know somebody who when you got something, they had to have it too? Well, my dad had a stroke. He couldn't leave that one thing to just be mine. Oh my God. He was in the hospital for a while, and it was kind of touch and go there. And I'm a religious person, and I prayed really hard when he was in the hospital, and he ended up making a remarkable recovery. And that's when I became convinced that God does not listen to my prayers. So I used to live not too far from here, but then I moved all the way to Riverside. And like, don't get me wrong, I love the crowds in Riverside, but looking at you all, seeing all your beautiful faces, when I think of the crowds in Riverside and their adoring, asymmetrical faces, I just think of how far I've fallen. Fortunately, we're far enough away that probably none of my Inland Empire sisters are here tonight, probably because that's conditions on their parole. Let's talk some shit, shall we? There's this one girl I used to perform with. I haven't seen her in a while, so she's probably dead. Kind of how it goes with Inland Empire queens, like they either die or they go on to perform in Mary's, Ontario. I'm not sure which I would prefer. I'm kidding, of course, I'd rather be dead. So this girl was bragging about how she had won a beauty pageant in Victorville? A beauty pageant in Victorville. Mama, that's Nowheresville. I don't know if I was more shocked that there was a beauty pageant in Victorville or that it actually had a winner. I'm like, what's the grand prize for something like that anyway? Like, it's nothing. And like, it makes sense, like you give them a little bit of an escape from the fact that they just won a beauty pageant in Victorville. But like, you imagine losing a pageant in Victorville. Like, you're there in front of a panel of judges that just look like the cast of The Hills Have Eyes. And you're there in your best drag that you shoplifted from the Army surplus store. And they say, you've won Miss Congeniality. I don't I don't know about y'all, but I don't think I could cope. I would walk into the desert and just never be seen from again. Let the land reclaim me once this makeup is biodegraded in like 200 years. I like to talk a lot of shit about small towns, especially people in the high desert. Like I like to act like I'm better than them because I am. But I grew up in the Central Valley in Northern California, and it's not much better there. Like I've often wished I was from somewhere else. I feel like my life would have gone better. I feel like I'd be a better looking drag queen. Like there's only so much that makeup can do when your parents are maybe a little related. Speaking of inbreeding, do we have any fellow country music fans in the house? Have you all heard that stupid song, Try That in a Small Town?
Oh my God.
It's terrible. It's like if you do something against conservative values, small town people will like retaliate with violence. It's fucked up. But I feel like there's this misconception of small towns that there's these like bastions of old-fashioned values. Like for all their talk of being against all kinds of sexual deviancy, there's a shocking amount of bestiality that goes on in small towns. Like, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. You gotta fuck something when you run out of cousins. Like one thing I do love about small towns is the small town straight girls. The messiest bitches you've ever seen. I give them 10 out of 10. Age they dropped out of school, 10. Time they start drinking in the morning, 10. Candidates in the last paternity test, 10. Felony assault convictions, 10. Teeth they haven't lost to meth. Yet, 10. 10s across the board. Sometimes I think I should run for my hometown's tourism board. Like, picture I'm on a billboard. Meth, incest, bestiality. Try that in a small town.